Have you ever been told you're too independent, too quiet, maybe even different? If you've found comfort in your own company as you've grown older, it's not a flaw, it's a quiet strength. While society often misunderstands those who enjoy solitude, labeling them as shy, withdrawn, or antisocial, the truth is far more meaningful. Many seniors who prefer being alone aren't lacking something. They've simply evolved into some of the most emotionally strong, deeply thoughtful, and quietly powerful individuals around. In fact, the ability to enjoy solitude as you age is a rare sign of growth. It reflects emotional maturity, mental clarity, and a kind of self-sufficiency many people never achieve because they're too entangled in noise, obligations, and the need for approval. If you've ever felt out of place in loud social settings or found yourself more at peace in silence than in crowds, this video may feel like a mirror to your inner life. We're diving into 7 powerful traits commonly found in older adults who enjoy solitude. These aren't shortcomings, they're strengths. And once you understand what they reveal about you, you might never again question your preference for a quiet life. Trait 1. Deep thinkers. Solitary seniors often have minds that are always in motion. They're not trying to escape the world, they're trying to understand it. While others are busy with chatter and activities, these individuals are busy making sense of life's bigger picture. They reflect deeply, learn from their past, and seek meaning rather than small talk. Like Ralph, who starts his day journaling about life's patterns. They have a rich inner world that feeds their clarity, creativity, and insight. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's processing. It's the birthplace of wisdom. Trait 2. Emotionally independent. Being okay alone doesn't mean you're closed off. It means you've built peace from within. Emotional independence is a hallmark of strength in older age. Seniors who are emotionally self-sufficient don't rely on constant validation or attention to feel worthy. Their sense of joy is steady, rooted, and not easily shaken by who calls, who shows up, or who doesn't. Like Irene, who enjoys her days regardless of external engagement, they've learned to weather emotional storms with grace. And ironically, this independence often draws others to them. They radiate calm, trust, and presence. Trait 3. Highly observant. Quiet doesn't mean unaware. On the contrary, seniors who enjoy solitude are often the most observant people in the room. They catch the subtle shifts others overlook. A change in tone, a glance, a sigh. Their attentiveness comes not from being nosy, but from truly seeing the world around them. Like Ben, who notices when the trees change or a neighbor's mood shifts, they live with mindful awareness. While the world rushes by, they remain rooted, noticing the beauty in the mundane and the unspoken truths in silence. In a noisy world, their kind of still awareness is a rare gift. Stay tuned as we uncover the next 4 traits that make solitude-loving seniors so unique and so powerful. You might discover that everything you once questioned about yourself is actually something worth celebrating. Trait 4. Selective with relationships. One of the most revealing traits among seniors who embrace solitude is their careful selectivity when it comes to relationships. They don't collect acquaintances like trinkets or pack their schedules with endless social commitments just to feel connected. Instead, they prioritize depth over volume. For them, a single heartfelt conversation carries more weight than a dozen casual ones. Take Dorothy and Patricia, both in their early 80s. Dorothy is constantly surrounded by people, always attending community gatherings, group luncheons, and club meetings. She enjoys the hustle and the laughter, but often returns home feeling strangely invisible, like she was present but not truly seen. Patricia, on the other hand, spends most of her time alone. She occasionally meets with 2 lifelong friends she trusts deeply. Their conversations are raw and honest, about aging, regrets, hopes, even fears. After those moments, Patricia doesn't feel drained. She feels nourished, understood. This kind of selectiveness isn't about being cold or unfriendly. It's about knowing that your emotional energy is sacred. Seniors who embrace solitude have often lived through the heartbreak of shallow relationships and the exhaustion of trying to keep up with social obligations that bring no real connection. They've learned that being surrounded by people doesn't guarantee you'll feel seen or heard. So now they choose differently. They value peace over pretense, presence over performance, They no longer chase popularity or worry about fitting in. They say no without guilt and yes with intention. Their social circle may be smaller, but it's rich with sincerity and mutual respect. The people they do invite into their lives are those who bring real value, those who listen, who honor their time, who reciprocate with kindness and depth. For many, this might mean one sibling they still call every Sunday, a neighbor they exchange vegetables and stories with, or a childhood friend they've quietly held on to for decades. These bonds aren't loud, they're steady, built slowly over time, not with grand gestures, but with consistent care. And here's the truth. If you found yourself gently drifting away from large gatherings, craving one-on-one connection instead of chaotic company, it's not a sign of isolation. It's a sign of intentional living. You're choosing who you give your time and spirit to, and that in itself is one of the clearest signs of self-respect. Trait 5, creatively inclined. There's something profoundly beautiful about the link between solitude and creativity, especially in the lives of older adults. Seniors who enjoy being alone are often quietly creative souls. They're the ones who write poetry in the early hours, who sketch in journals no one else will ever see, who hum to themselves while folding laundry or take joy in arranging flowers just so. Their creativity doesn't demand an audience. It simply needs space. Take Henry and Wallace, both 79. Henry fills his days with errands, television, sports talk, always surrounded by stimulation, needing noise to feel comfortable. Wallace, on the other hand, spends hours in quiet focus at his workbench, carving tiny wooden birds. He rarely shows them to anyone. For him, it's not about praise. It's about the process, the stillness, the feeling of his hands shaping something meaningful. That's where he finds peace. To be creatively inclined doesn't mean you have to be a painter or a musician. It means you see the world with eyes that linger a little longer. It's in the way you rearrange your living room to feel more balanced, how you plate a meal with a touch of color, or how you find beauty in the shape of clouds or the sound of wind through trees. Solitude for these individuals isn't just quiet, it's a canvas. In the absence of social noise, their inner world becomes vibrant. They stitch words together in the golden light of a quiet morning. They hear inspiration in the smallest details, the way light falls through curtains or the texture of an old book's page. Their imagination becomes a companion, a source of joy and fulfillment. This kind of creativity is deeply nourishing. It keeps the mind agile, the heart open, and the spirit youthful. It's also therapeutic. For many seniors, creativity becomes a way to process emotion, to soothe anxiety, to remember, to hope. It gives shape to feelings that don't always have words. Some write letters they never send. Others knit scarves for neighbors, build model trains, tend to elaborate gardens, or invent stories in their heads that they may never share. To outsiders, these individuals might appear lonely. But what those outsiders miss is the rich, intricate world unfolding behind their eyes. A world built not on needing attention, but on expressing something deeper, just for the joy of it. This isn't isolation, it's imagination. It's not retreating from life, it's engaging with it on a more intimate, personal level. If you've ever felt alive while creating something, whether it's a song, a recipe, a photo album, or simply a peaceful corner in your home, know that this is not a small thing. It's a powerful reflection of your vitality. It means you're connected to something within yourself that many people never take the time to explore. This quiet, creative inclination is one of the most life-giving traits a person can carry. It keeps the flame of wonder burning, long after the world expects it to fade. Trait 6, strong self-discipline. Another quietly powerful trait often seen in seniors who cherish solitude is a strong sense of self-discipline. These individuals don't need a packed calendar or constant reminders to stay on track. They've developed a steady inner compass, a personal rhythm that guides their days, even when no one is watching. Take George and Harold, both 82. George thrives on external structure. He signs up for every community activity, relies on class schedules to motivate him, and depends on friendly nudges to remember things like taking his medication. He finds comfort in the crowd and direction in group accountability. Harold, by contrast, begins his mornings at the same hour, every day. He quietly makes his bed, stretches his limbs, and prepares a simple, nourishing breakfast. No one's monitoring him. There are no alarms or checklists posted on the wall. He doesn't do it to impress anyone. He does it because it brings him clarity, order, and peace. That kind of internal discipline doesn't just appear overnight. It's the result of years, decades even, of learning how to keep promises to yourself. It's born from hardship, from moments where there was no one else to rely on, and yet the basics still had to be done. It's grown through consistency, not applause. It's in the decision to stay organized, not for reward, but for the simple reason that chaos doesn't feel right. This quiet strength becomes most visible when life throws something unexpected, an illness, a difficult family matter, or a change in daily routine. While others might panic or feel lost without outside structure, these self-disciplined individuals calmly adapt. They fall back on their habits, not rigidly, but with grace. They move through the storm with their feet planted firmly on the foundation they built through years of personal accountability. And the beauty of this kind of discipline is that it's often invisible to others. You won't hear about it in grand speeches or flashy routines. It shows up in the little things: the regular watering of plants, the consistent tracking of health metrics, the tidy cupboards, the thoughtful grocery list, the medicine cabinet always stocked and organized. It's in the steadiness of their actions, the quiet predictability that gives shape to their days. More importantly, this self-discipline grants a deeper kind of freedom. When you know you can count on yourself, when you trust your own ability to follow through, there's a quiet power in that. You don't have to rely on others to move forward. You become the quiet architect of your life. Even if it's a life of simple routines and small pleasures, it's a life built with intention, a life you've designed on your terms. And that kind of ownership creates confidence. Not the loud, boastful kind, but a rooted, unshakable confidence. It shows in how they speak, how they carry themselves, how they face uncertainty. You can feel it in the calm way they approach each morning and in their refusal to be thrown off course by temporary noise or disruption. So if you've found that you can stick to your routines even when no one is checking in, if you hold yourself to a quiet standard without outside pressure, then recognize that for what it is, a reflection of your integrity. It's not rigidity, it's self-respect. And in a world full of distractions and excuses, that kind of discipline is a rare strength. And if you're still here, still nodding along with these insights, I'd love to know. Drop a number 6 in the comments so I know this resonates with you. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon. We create this content to empower, affirm, and uplift people just like you. Now let's keep going. There's one more trait to explore. Trait 7, spiritually grounded. There's a certain stillness, a quiet, unshakable peace that often settles into the hearts of those who've grown comfortable in their own presence. Seniors who genuinely enjoy solitude tend to carry this peace with them. But it's not because they've turned away from the world. It's because they've turned inward and found something deeper. They've become spiritually grounded. Let's look at Eleanor and June, both 84. Eleanor keeps her television on from morning till night, not to watch, but to drown out the silence. Stillness unsettles her. Without sound, she doesn't quite know what to do with herself. June, on the other hand, welcomes the quiet. She sits by the window, her hands folded loosely in her lap. She's not reciting traditional prayers, but she reflects deeply. She asks questions about life, about the people she's loved, about what might come next. Her quiet moments are full, not empty. Being spiritually grounded doesn't mean you follow a particular religion. It means you found a way to connect with something beyond the surface of daily life. Maybe that's nature. Maybe it's your faith. Maybe it's a sense of meaning you've built over years of living. It's the understanding that life isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you carry your experiences, how you move through your days, and how you find purpose in the ordinary. This kind of depth often emerges in people who have lived through both joy and sorrow. They've celebrated love and grieved loss. They've had wins and faced regrets. And at some point, they stopped trying to control every outcome. They stopped demanding answers. They learned to sit with uncertainty, to live peacefully in the space between questions. And that's where their quiet strength comes from. When others panic, they remain composed. When others complain, they offer stillness. When life grows unpredictable or difficult, they don't flee from it. They turn inward, not to escape, but to stabilize. They've made peace with silence, and in that silence, they've discovered something sacred. People like this are rarely shaken by the noise of the world. They don't need distractions to feel alive. They don't chase after validation or fear solitude. They've developed a calm rootedness that radiates from the inside out. In moments of crisis, they're often the ones others lean on, not because they have all the answers, but because their presence itself is grounding. Their calm is contagious. Their steadiness provides shelter. If you've found comfort in quiet moments, if solitude feels more like a sanctuary than a sentence, you likely carry this spiritual depth too. You've tapped into a form of peace that can't be manufactured. It's cultivated. It's grown slowly through years of listening, reflecting, and letting go of the need to constantly be busy, loud, or affirmed. This final trait, spiritual grounding, is one of the most powerful qualities a person can develop with age. It's not about giving up, it's about tuning into what matters, what lasts, and what still stirs your soul, even when the world outside grows quiet. Now that you've heard all 7 traits, take a moment to reflect. How many of these sound like you? Do you find stillness soothing rather than scary? Do you crave fewer, deeper connections instead of constant company? Do you feel most alive not in the crowd, but in the quiet? If so, you're not just someone who enjoys being alone. You're someone who has grown into wisdom, someone who's living life on their own terms, with intention, reflection, and depth. Too often, society paints solitude as something to fix or fear. But as we've explored today, for many older adults, solitude isn't about loneliness. It's about evolution. It's the result of decades of growth, perspective, and the quiet release of things that no longer matter. You're not retreating from the world. You're choosing your own rhythm. You're not antisocial. You're selective. You've discovered that peace is more valuable than performance, that stillness can be healing, and that the richest moments in life often happen in silence. These traits, deep thought, emotional independence, careful observation, selective relationships, creative spirit, disciplined habits, and spiritual grounding, don't show up overnight. They're earned. They're the soft rewards of a life lived with awareness and care. So if you've ever wondered whether your love for solitude means something's wrong, let this be your answer. There's nothing wrong with you. In fact, there's something profoundly right. You're not withdrawing from life. You're connecting with it more deeply, more consciously, and more authentically than ever before. And in a world that rarely pauses, your silence, your steadiness, and your soulfulness might just be the most powerful voice in the room. If you made it this far, thank you. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share something that resonated with you today, or how you plan to embrace these insights in your own life. Your voice matters. Your presence here matters. If this video brought you peace or inspiration, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and uplift people like you. We appreciate you, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.